Good morning or afternoon, all. Jennifer here. Trying something a little new. So, as you all know, we've been not having our standard meetings for quite some time due to lack of places to have these meetings and social distancing rules. I have some information I wanted to get out to the group as a whole, but I didn't want to just do my standard long email, but rather kind of accompany that information that I'll be sending to you, maybe with some explanation via video. So again, bear with me. I might stumble over some of what I had planned to say as I awkwardly record myself in my own office. So here we go. So first of all, I really want to take some time to personally, via video, thank you guys for all of your dedication and efforts. It would be crazy not to admit how stressful of a time this has been over these past 3 months, not just with the COVID crisis and pandemic, but now obviously with some of the social unrest going on and the things that are in the news every day. I think we're all just kind of stressed to the max. Couple that with everybody who's been working from home coming back into the office now, and that has just kind of created this firestorm of a lot of tension, really just kind of facility-wide, and it's certainly understandable. So we all just want to remember to do our best to support each other, to recognize that we're all in these difficult times and to be understanding of that, and to really be able to lean on each other when needed. So again, wanted to acknowledge that, wanted to thank you all, knowing that these things are very stressful. In addition to that, we've now kind of asked all of you to help out on night shifts, which I understand is not a fun proposition, but I really appreciate everybody being willing to chip in and help out there while we work to get that senior position filled. So the real reason for the message to accompany the information that I just sent you via email is to kind of explain some of what's been going on and where some of this is coming from. So we have had some service failure issues recently, specific with the OR, but really also on some other key issues and areas as well that we really want to start addressing. And a lot of that is due directly to, honestly, just not having the full leadership support in those areas during those times. So a lot of these things are not happening when we've got you guys as a team here to manage those issues and to get them taken care of. But when we don't have our leadership here, we're dropping the ball. So that being said, we are implementing some new things to make sure to not drop the ball on those times. So the first of which you're going to see is the fact that right now we always need a manager on shift. We really cannot rely on our frontline team members as much as we'd love to, and as much as I know that their heart is in the right place and that they're trying to help as well. We really do need our leadership here. So please know that that's why we have put in that rotation for the nights, but also know that that's really key on some opportune moments such as weekends and things like that. The ops team is going to work to make sure there's backup plans. So if somebody does call in or can't make it, we need to make sure we're all supporting each other and being a team, and that we may very well get called to help cover when needed. It also means making sure to not leave until your fellow manager is here for the next shift so you can have that hand-to-hand handoff of the issues of the day. We also are going to be much more regimented about our DSO check-ins. So we implemented that a while ago, and I know you guys don't get the DSO report, but I do. And there's actually a space on there where it indicates, where the DSO puts in who they talk to from our department to indicate that that check-in occurred. Those are not as consistent as we'd like, but we're also going to take it one step further. So the new requirement's really going to be that a member of management has to check in with the DSO within an hour at the start of each shift. So that means between 7 and 8 a.m., between 3 and 4, and then between that 10:30, 11:30 at the start of each of our shifts. We are also adding that to our own internal shift reports. So now you all will be expected to put in who you talk to, DSO-wise, what time you talk to them, and how you talk to them, either in person or via phone. You can call them. They, just like us, are not necessarily in their office. And so you might have to track them down. Well, instead of doing that, you can feel free to reach out to them via that DSO cell phone that they hand off from shift to shift. But you'll indicate that in your shift report. So that also will be attached to the email that I sent, is the new shift report updated. We also need to make sure that we're utilizing the tools we have, particularly during the off hours when we do not have the dispatch center open. So after 9:30 p.m. and on weekends. We do have that Wi-Fi phone I've tested it personally, so I do know that the phone rings when nobody answers at the dispatch center. It does roll over to the Wi-Fi phone. We need to make sure that when we're carrying that phone, if it rings, we answer it. Don't just rely on it'll go to voicemail and I'll check the voicemail later. We need to answer that phone. A lot of the perception of our response has to do with people feeling like they contact EVS and then they never hear anything back. They never get a response. So they don't even know if we got the message in the first place. So it's going to be key, first of all, to answer that phone. Should we not be able to answer that phone, whether it's because you're on another call, or whatever reason, business reason, that you weren't able to answer the call, we need to immediately check the voicemail and respond to the customer within 10 to 15 minutes. That is what we are going to communicate house-wide to our customers. That if you place a call to EVS and leave a message, someone's going to get back to you within 10 to 15 minutes. That is not to say it's going to resolve the issue. That is simply to acknowledge, at a minimum, their request, manage their expectations, let them know what's going on. Hey, I got your message, we'll be there shortly, I've got a person tied up, whatever the message is, but something to acknowledge that that request has been received and is being prioritized based on what's going on during the business. The next thing we are implementing is more of a scheduled call tree type situation. We kind of already have this in place in terms of escalation, but not in a way that we provided to our customers. So on the attached PowerPoint, you're going to see the call tree that says, hey, how to get a hold of EVS, what the expectation is on a return callback. If you don't get a response, what to do next. So if it's a lower priority call, we are encouraging them to call us back again. Right? And maybe we are busy and that's why we haven't gotten back to them, but to give us that opportunity to maybe place a second call. At that point, or once it's higher priority, they need to start escalating that. This includes during off hours and weekends. So if they don't get a response and there's a need and there's an escalation that starts, they now have the numbers to start escalating to the operations managers during certain times. So the operations managers will now get a call. If they don't answer for some reason, I'm the next person in line. If I don't answer for some reason, Gus is the next person in line. So obviously you can see how those things can escalate. So the point is to make sure our customers understand that they have a series of calls they can make to hopefully get their issues resolved as soon as possible. Obviously, ideally, the goal is to get those things resolved on that first call. So that's what I really want to challenge everyone, is making sure that we're doing those responses, making sure that we're contacting the customer and really just managing their expectations. All of the departments in this hospital are busy and they're relying on us for some of their own workflows. So if we don't respond, they can't do things that they need to do for patients as well. So let's make sure that we are prioritizing those and making sure they get done timely. So again, you can see the call tree provided. The other things that we're putting into place, such as checking in with the DSO more consistently. I firmly believe, truly, that if we can get ahead of these communication issues to where people feel like we're here and they know who to call if they have an issue and that they're going to get a response and it's going to get resolved, we're going to see a lot less of those complaints going up the chain. And that is simply because they're going to feel confident and comfortable in their contacts with EVS. So it won't be something that necessarily has to get blown up or out of proportion if they can trust. And again, it's building that trust level with our fellow TMC team members and important customers who are providing that direct patient care. So I wanted to end, there's a couple links in your email. It's been a while since I've kind of sent out a morale boost as I have in the past. And the two links that I sent are actually not even really work related. So I typically send something out about management and how to, reinvigorate our leadership. But if you're feeling like I'm feeling right now, you need a little more uplifting than just reminding what makes a good leader. We all know what makes a good leader. And I think we have to feed ourselves with some good news before we can send that good news out to others, because no doubt about it, we're just as stressed out as the frontline team members are. And we need to make sure every day that we come in invigorated and ready for the day to respond to and to keep our team members uplifted. And those things are very difficult. So the first link is to, and some of you might have seen this, to a link called Some Good News. They're little 15-minute videos. I've sent the link to the first one, and it's literally about some good news. Some of them are funny. It's by John Krasinski from The Office, but I found it very uplifting and entertaining, especially during these times. And the second link is to a website that I just discovered today from CBS News that literally is nothing but pages and links to good, positive news stories. So even though every time we turn on the news right now, we know exactly what we're seeing, which is not positive at all. It's pandemic, it's riots, it's looting, it's the protesting. All of that is just very heavy. So they have a whole page dedicated to nothing but positive, uplifting stories. So I encourage all of you, when needed, to go there. It does help. It helps me, and I know it helps those around us to sometimes just eliminate that negativity and to focus on the fact that there is still good going on. That hopefully can help fill your bucket, so that you can help build your teammates' bucket, because that's why we're here every day, to help and to be part of this pandemic response. What we do now is more important than ever. And even though we're all kind of probably exhausted and a little drained, I think when we keep that in mind and recognize we are part of those first responders, that's why we're here every day. We've all been here in the trenches, helping the team, dealing with every day-to-day changes. So again, I really want to thank you all. We've been doing some great stuff. Unfortunately, some of the stuff where we're dropping the ball negates that great stuff in the eyes of some of our customers. And I just want us to get back to where our customers see the great stuff we are doing, because we are absolutely doing that. So focus on those things. Let's correct the things where we know we need to correct. And we can go from there as a good, solid team. I do appreciate feedback on whether or not this format works. Please feel free to email back with any questions, comments on the information that I'm sending you guys. Anything that you think might need to be addressed as a group for the shift managers, because I'd be more than happy to make sure to get that out to everybody. So thank you, and I appreciate each and every one of you.